What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Neg Entropy Chronicles. So, you saw the thumbnail, you saw the title. Florida cop attempts to choke another fellow officer. So, let's not waste more time and get into it, alright?
Sunrise police are investigating one of their own after shocking body camera footage showed an altercation between a sergeant and another officer. NBC6 investigator Willard Shepard joins us with that video and what we know so far. Hey, Willard.
Well, there is an investigation underway here, and the chief, Anthony Rosa, taking action here to let the community know what's going on here, but also shows how some of this process that they have been doing to train officers to step in, even concerning with one of their own, if that becomes necessary. We want to show you this video here. I found out this morning this actually took place back in November when the officers here in Sunrise were taking a felon into custody and had that person into custody. There is a sergeant that is seen in the video.
Now, what do you think is the problem with this video here? One, he didn't even hesitate. He had the pepper spray in his one hand, and as soon as he turned around and saw who it was, he instantly went for the throat. And the other police officers are just watching it. I find that problematic. At the least, ain't nobody gonna stop this fool. Like, come on now.
Video that pulled out a can of pepper spray, never actually deployed it, but at that moment a second officer stepped in, taking that sergeant by the back of his belt and was moving him backwards when the video shows that that sergeant turned around and put his hands on the throat of the officer who had moved over into that situation. That sergeant has been removed from all of the supervisory capabilities that the sergeant has had here at the police department.
You ever notice like some of these cops that always push the line on excessive force always seem to have a similar look? And look at the tone of his skin tone at the moment. He is raging out, like he is beyond livid. And they said he wasn't even there. He walked up and was on it. So, you know, whatever mood he was in, I'm really intrigued to see if they check his actual history and see how many times he's had excessive complaints of, excessive force and complaints used against him or, placed on him, and they just didn't do anything about it.
In Sunrise, and there's an internal affairs investigation underway. The police chief chose to release this video to us and to the public in terms of transparency. That's something the chief doesn't even actually have to do here because he's protected by the Florida law in not releasing it because an internal affairs investigation is underway. But the chief in his statement said that they wanted complete transparency with this. This investigation now moves forward. The chief also commended the officer who stepped in because that officer wanted to take action to de-escalate the situation and thought things were going to escalate. And police and law enforcement across the board have been saying, especially after George Floyd, officers have to step in when they see something that they think that they can prevent that's going wrong, even if it's another officer. And that's what the chief believes was taking place here. Of course, the investigation will continue and move forward. We'll have much more throughout the course of the day on this situation here in Sunrise. In Sunrise, Willard Shepard, NBC6.
Shout out to the police chief for releasing that video footage, because there was a previous case, like almost over a decade ago, where a police officer, a female one, had stopped another police officer from beating on a handcuffed individual and choking him to death, and she lost her job, so on and so forth. And they finally just appealed it, and she's now got her pension, got everything going for her. They even passed a law in her name. But this is one of those jobs that you do not have the opportunity to be a bad apple. You are constantly under scrutiny. So to think that a person stopping you from actually, causing more harm to the department itself, you turn around and instantly want to do harm to that person, like, man, that dude was gone. And I used to say this before, but I was like, man, they need to start checking these people for, steroids and stuff like that. Check and see what's going on there, because sometimes the level that they're willing to go doesn't make sense to the average human being. The way they amp up or the way they escalate, it's like, man, check them for steroids, see if they really on something. That was just a thought I always had. But shout out to the female cop for actually stopping him, because there's no telling why would you pull out your pepper spray to a person that's handcuffed? You know, what's the point? He's handcuffed. He's already in the vehicle. What are we talking about? So shout out to her, you know, preventing somebody from being harmed unnecessarily, you know. But let me know what y'all think down in the comment section. I mean, it blew my mind to see it, but let me know what y'all think. All right, everybody. Peace.